Once upon a starry night, little Ben found himself sitting under the twinkling sky, dreaming of adventures beyond his small town of Everwood. He had always hoped for something extraordinary to happen in his life. Little did he know, his wish was about to come true. The very next morning, as sunlight peeked through his window, Ben spotted a shimmering envelope on his bedside table. Curious, he eagerly opened it and pulled out a dazzling golden ticket. "Congratulations, Ben," it read. "You're invited to board the Starlight Train for an astonishing journey across the galaxy." Ben's heart danced with excitement. He couldn't believe his luck. "The Starlight Train!" he exclaimed, his eyes wide with wonder. Packing his favorite snacks and his worn-out teddy, Ben hurried to the train station. A magnificent train bathed in twinkling lights awaited him. It was more spectacular than he had ever imagined. As Ben stepped aboard, he was greeted by the cheerful conductor, Miss Celeste, who wore a hat adorned with glittering stars. "Welcome aboard, young traveler," she chimed. "Your cosmic adventure awaits." Ben found a seat and soon noticed other children from various planets chatting eagerly. There was Miko from Mars, who had fiery red hair, and Ziva from Venus, with eyes that sparkled like the morning dew. As the train chugged forward, each carriage opened up into marvelous worlds. They visited the moon meadows, where dreams grew on trees, and the starry sea, where stars fizzled like soda bubbles. The children laughed, shared stories, and even exchanged gifts from their planets. Miko gave Ben a glowing rock from Mars, while Ziva presented a delicate Venusian flower that sang the sweetest melody. Throughout the journey, Ben felt a warmth in his heart. He realized that it wasn't just the sights and sounds of the galaxy that were magical, but the friendships he was forging with these extraordinary children. As the Starlight Train whistled its way back to Everwood, Ben knew he would cherish this adventure forever. The magical galaxy had brought him not just wonders from the universe, but also friends from among the stars. With a heart full of gratitude, Ben waved farewell to his new companions, knowing that the shimmering night sky now held a deeper meaning, a promise of endless possibilities and friendships among the stars. Once upon a time, in a galaxy not too far away, there was an extraordinary train. This was not your ordinary train, mind you, but a marvelous vehicle that sailed through the starry skies and visited all sorts of incredible planets. Our story follows a little boy named Ben. Ben was a curious lad with a mop of curly hair and eyes as bright as sapphires. He lived on a small planet called Hummingbird, known for its melodious winds. One fine day, Ben received a golden ticket from an intergalactic railway post. It was his invitation to board the wondrous train for a grand adventure across the cosmos. With excitement bubbling in his chest, Ben hopped on board. The seat cushions were as fluffy as clouds, and the window panes shimmered with reflections of shooting stars. The train chugged and whooshed into the vast universe. The first stop was Planet Lollipop, a place where candy forests stretched for miles. The trees were made of peppermint bark, with licorice branches bending towards the sugary ground. Ben found himself in the company of cheerful candy folk who gifted him gummy bears that danced on his tongue. The train then glided across the Milky Way to reach Star Ocean, a planet with waves of sparkling stars. Here, the starry mermaids sang songs of ancient tales, their voices echoing through the cosmic currents. Entranced, Ben learned about their tradition of weaving celestial tapestries from stardust. Next, they traveled to the planet of Whispers, a mysterious place enveloped by soft mists. The whispering winds shared stories of time gone by, each breeze a gentle memory. It was a planet where words turned into misty pictures swirling in the air. Planet Harmony was their last stop, a vibrant world full of melody and rhythm. Musical notes fluttered around like colorful butterflies, creating symphonies in the air. Here, Ben joined in their festival, his heart dancing with joy, learning the universal language of music that united all creatures of the galaxy. Finally, the train whistled its way back to Hummingbird, and Ben carried with him souvenirs of knowledge and tales from the stars. His world felt a bit bigger now, as he realized every planet had its own song to sing and story to share. And so, Ben's grand adventure on the stellar train came to an end, but the magic and friendships he found among the stars would stay with him forever. Once upon a time, there was a magical train that traveled across the clouds. This train, unlike any other, was powered by a radiant star crystal, a glowing gem that kept it drifting splendidly between the shimmering stars. One bright morning, young Ben hopped aboard the magical train, giddy with excitement for his first journey across the universe. He made new friends on the train: Lila, with her sparkling laughter, Max, who loved telling stories, and Oliver, the clever one, who always knew the answers to everything. As the train floated over silver clouds, something unexpected occurred. The train came to a sudden stop, hovering at a tiny station suspended in the sky. The passengers murmured in confusion, looking at each other with worried glances. The conductor announced, "We are sorry for the inconvenience, but the star crystal that powers our train has gone missing. Without it, we cannot continue our journey." Realizing the adventure that lay ahead, Ben and his friends decided to search for the crystal. "Let's check the nearby cave," suggested Oliver, pointing towards a glimmering cavern on a hill nearby. With determined hearts, the quartet set off towards the cave. Lila giggled as they skipped over fluffy white clouds, and Max shared a story of an ancient treasure guarded by cave shadows. Upon reaching the cave, they found it filled with twinkling lights of mysterious little creatures. The cave sparkled like 1,000 stars. "Hello, young ones," a gentle voice came from the darkness. It was the voice of an ancient starkeeper. "Are you seeking the lost star crystal?" "Yes, we must find it to power our train," said Ben bravely. "This crystal fled from the train to escape the lonely sky above," explained the starkeeper. "Promise it friendship and care if it returns to your world." Lila stepped forward with a smile. "We promise to always keep you company." Enticed by the warmth of the promise, the star crystal appeared, shimmering brighter than before. Ben and his friends carefully carried it back to the train, its glow lighting the way. With the crystal in place, the train roared back to life, continuing its voyage across the star-studded sky. The passengers cheered, and a sense of harmony filled the air. As for Ben and his friends, they knew that, thanks to their courage, teamwork, and a promise, they could overcome any challenge the universe threw their way. And so, with hearts full of joy and a newfound friendship with the star crystal, the journey continued into endless adventures. Once upon a time, in a land filled with bubbling streams and lush mountains, there was a little village named Alderwood. In Alderwood, there lived a group of brave friends: Lily, the quick-thinking fox; Max, the strong but gentle bear; and Oliver, the curious and clever owl. One day, the village faced a great problem. The magical train that traveled between towns had broken down. Without the train, villagers couldn't visit their families or trade goods. The wise elderberry tree, the spirit of Alderwood, whispered to the friends that only a sparkling crystal, hidden in the mystic cave, could power the train once more. Lily, Max, and Oliver knew their task was not easy. Within the mystic cave, a sleepy, ancient dragon guarded the precious crystal. However, the villagers' hopes imbued them with courage, and they set off on their adventure. As they tiptoed into the cave, the dimly lit path echoed with the dragon's gentle snores. Being as silent as they could, the friends devised a clever plan. Lily spotted a stack of lovely ripe apples just outside the cave entrance. The trio quickly piled some near the dragon's nose, hoping to make it even sleepier. The apple's sweet aroma drifted into the air, and the dragon, still asleep, smiled a big, contented dragon grin, shifting slightly without waking. With the dragons still dreaming, the friends steadily approached the shimmering crystal. Max, using his strong paws, lifted it quietly. They knew the crystal held immense power, gleaming with 1,000 colors. Oliver, who had studied ancient texts about mystical objects, whispered a caution. We must hurry. The crystal's glow might wake him. They crept out of the cave as quickly as they dared. As soon as they were outside in the sunlight, Lily proclaimed, We did it! Now, to the train station. Racing back, they returned to the clunky, old train waiting for its bark. Gently placing the crystal into its socket, the train roared to life, and with a great puff of steam, it was ready to go. The village cheered as the train whistled, chugging down the tracks, bringing joy and connectivity once again. Max, Lily, and Oliver were hailed as heroes, their friendship and bravery spoken of for years to come. And they learned that sometimes clever thinking and a little teamwork can solve even the most daunting challenges. Ben stood on the platform of the intergalactic railway station, clutching the last ticket in his hands, a shimmering, golden ticket that twinkled like 1,000 stars. The Cosmic Express, a magnificent train with wheels that floated above the ground, was preparing to return him to Earth. During his time among the stars, Ben had made friends with beings of all shapes and sizes. There was Arlo, the mischievous green blob who loved practical jokes and could fit into the tiniest of spaces. Then there was Luna, the moon-faced girl who played music that made the comets dance. And, of course, Blip, a tiny, bouncing creature who spoke in jingles and riddles. Together, they explored the asteroid fields, raced through starry tunnels, and shared tales by the light of luminous nebulae. As he prepared to say goodbye, each of his friends presented him with tokens of their friendship. Arlo gave him a prank puzzle box that would only open to the sound of laughter. Luna handed over a tiny, luminescent orb that played her interstellar symphony when shaken. Blip gifted him a riddle, promising it would lead to a treasure the next time they met. Promise to stay in touch, Ben, Luna said with a wistful smile. I promise, Ben replied, his voice thick with emotion. I'll never forget any of you. The whistle of the train signaled it was time to board. Ben hugged his friends one last time, feeling a warm, glowing sensation fill his heart. As the train's doors closed, he waved, tears of joy and sadness mixing together. As the Cosmic Express glided through the star-laden skies, Ben settled into a seat, gripping the golden ticket tightly. It was more than just a passage home. It was a keepsake of his wondrous journey, a promise of future adventures, and a symbol of friendships that bridged worlds and galaxies. With a warm smile, he felt the train pick up speed towards Earth, his heart brimming with hope that one day he would see his friends again, not just in dreams but in reality. For now, he was content to journey home, fantastical stories to share and memories glowing bright, just like the stars that continued to twinkle outside his window.